suppose one of the big stories for the Washington Spirit is the situation with the manager, because we know that Jonatan Giráldez, he's obviously going to be departing. Here's just a reminder of his timeline, though, with the club, because he's going on paternity leave, so he'll miss today's game. But this is how he has been with the Washington Spirit. He was announced as their head coach on January 2024, but he made his sideline debut later on, all the way on July 6th of that year, following the conclusion of Barcelona's season. He then led the Spirit to the 2024 NWSL final, where they lost 1-0 to the Orlando Pride. Then in March of this year, he won his first NWSL trophy when the Spirit beat the Pride 4-2 on penalties in the Challenge Cup. And earlier this month, he was announced as OL Lyonne head coach, with his last match in charge with the Spirit being next Sunday, but we know he's absent today. Darian, it's a bit of a strange situation, isn't it?
Not even a year, and even hearing you say that he won the Challenge Cup and he took the team to the final, I actually think Adrian Gonzalez is the coach that took the team from where they were to the NWSL Championship, and he came in a pretty sweet position, which is all great. And it's very strange that he's leaving. They made the announcement, and then I think from the players' side, knowing, okay, well, you're leaving to one of the biggest clubs in women's football and in men's football, and we're going back to the coach that we're familiar with, that is so familiar with these players, that has taken us to great heights, grown our game, brought these amazing rookies in that totally redefined Washington Spirit. I would kind of be like, let's bye, like, go already. It's midway point in the season. Let's get with it.
It's weird to announce it and say in a couple weeks I'm going to be leaving, but in the meantime I'm still here, and your head coach that's coming in is my assistant at this point. That's the funkiest part, right? Because we've also seen it where coaches announce, I'm going to leave at the end of the season or in a couple months, but it's usually because they're still searching for who's going to step in as their next head coach. It's just this weird in-between kind of limbo situation, but now we do get to see Adrian Gonzalez on the sidelines.
Yeah, and I think I do understand it, right? When you see a coach move from clubs that are under the same ownership, you realise that's a straightforward transition, right? When it's Michel Kang that owns Olympique Lyonnais and that's who he's moving to. But I think you guys are spot on. I think as a player in that moment, if you see your manager being announced as leaving, but you still have to follow the processes and methodology whilst knowing that the assistant is going to step in, and it's a really, really strange situation to be in. But I've no doubt that the players in that locker room are still going to be ultimate pros, carry out their jobs just as well, and go and win for this team.
How will his time be remembered with this club, though, Darian? Can you call it a success, do you think, when he hasn't been there for that long, and like you mentioned, a lot of the groundwork was already done?
It's interesting. I'll say it was successful. I mean, that's a really big change, going from coaching a team like Barcelona. We were talking about this in the pre-show. A team like Barcelona, who anybody you put in, it's going to maintain top level. That league is completely different than the NWSL, where here, week in, week out, anything can happen. Anybody can win on any given day. So the competition level, the preparation, the connection you have to have with players, rotation-wise, is very different. Amongst that, having to do with the amount of injuries that Washington Spirit has had from those players that we were so high on last year that we either haven't seen or have barely gotten to see this year, he's dealt with a lot. So to still lead this team for how successful they are, they're still high up on the table, I'd say it's successful.
And to have to come in and learn on the fly, because he didn't even come in last year until the middle of the season. And then once he came in, it was like, okay, who are my players? What's happening? How are we adjusting? He did get a preseason with this squad that he has right now, but it's just been constant change on every level at Washington Spirit. It's a lot to juggle.
Do you think the players are happy, though, Jen, that they're kind of going back to a familiar situation? They haven't got that looming cloud over their head where they're thinking, who is going to be coming in? What does our future look like? It's almost comfortable for them in a way.
Oh, for sure. I think for sure it's a smooth transition, right? Knowing who's going to step in, you've already worked with. You know you've had great success under that manager as well, and he's in the building already. He's already working with that. We said it before. I think there will be some conversations of, right, what will happen next, and because they have a whole season to still play, right? It's still so much football left to play, but I think it does make the situation much smoother, knowing the methodology that's going to happen and the processes that you're familiar with, that you've seen last season, ready to just go into it next time.
Also, from a player standpoint, knowing that, oh, this coach, I already have a relationship with this coach. He's already familiar with how I am on and off the field, my tendencies, how I like to play, how to get the best out of me on the field. I'm not going to be put in as if a new coach were coming in and they're just going to go with who they know, how exactly they want to play, and maybe you're not a part of it. So I think this is, if there's going to be a change and a transition in coaching, this is the most most ideal thing to happen.
When he came to the NWSL, it was exciting, wasn't it? Because obviously he'd had so much success with Barcelona, but the European game is so different to the NWSL, just even in terms of the competitions that they play in. Do you think he was a good fit for the NWSL?
I think that if he had more time, he could adjust more, because it's not just the competition that's different in the NWSL, the physicality that changes with it, the travel. Poppy, you think about traveling around Spain, even playing in Champions League, your flights aren't that long. When you're going from Washington Spirit in DC all the way to Portland, Oregon, that's a 6-hour flight plus a 3-hour time change on your body that you have to deal with, and then maybe play mid-match. It's just so much adjustment. I think that at the time it was definitely the right decision. When you go from a club that's won everything at Barcelona, you expect to see that same type of caliber no matter what league they go to, because it doesn't always just come down to the league and the players you have, but also the tactics and the mindset he has.
For sure. I think there's so much that goes into, from what I know anyway, of how Barcelona worked, right? Very few days off, training most days. And we said it's because the intensity in the game, maybe in the Spanish league, is not quite there. We all know the physicality of the NWSL. You cannot just move that same methodology to another league and expect it to work. The one thing that I would highlight is the injury list. It was big, and I think that's the one thing to look at, right? Something might not have worked from a methodology style working day in, day out. So I think when you're moving, you can't emulate league to league and think it's going to be the exact same.
Do you think that is a bit of a reflection of the style of play and the travel maybe that is so vast and it's difficult, isn't it? I mean, you guys know, getting on a plane and going 6 hours and then training that day and playing the day after, it's not easy.
And when you're having to be away, I mean, I don't know if you experienced this at Bay, but I remember in Orlando, we would have days, weeks, where we would be traveling to New York, flying across to Portland, playing in San Diego, then maybe Kansas City, and then coming home. It's a lot to adjust, even mentally, emotionally, how you're stuck with the team and how you deal with that for that long with no breaks. It's a really big adjustment. But to me, the biggest thing is what you said. I think that's exactly right. I mean, I played abroad in France, and the disparity between the league is massive. Those top 2-3 teams sweep the league every year, and here it's completely different.
It's so true. I mean, how many times have we seen the bottom go all the way to the top within one season and win the championship?
That's what makes it fun.
It's true. It's unpredictable, isn't it?